from got it. Yeah, a lot of you come from different backgrounds of in different levels of coding or design or AR creation. Yeah, a lot of different backgrounds. So templates are really a good way, a good starting point for anyone who's pretty new to Lightship. An easy way to explore the different features that Lightship offers, but also serve as kind of a baseline or a starting point to build off of. So today, I think I'd like to walk through how to get Lightship, or I'm sorry, how to get Lightship and templates both set up and working in Unity. And then from there, we'll play around a little bit and see how we can customize it, how we can make it our own, hopefully serve as an example and inspirations for you to go about on your own and take these templates and build your projects off of them. So yeah, today, yeah, I don't know if it'll last a full 2 hours, but feel free to, I'll share screen and you can develop or do the templates and customize alongside me. I'll try to go slow enough so I'm not going too fast. And if you just want to be a fly on the wall, check it out, see what it's about, get a good understanding of how they work and pay close attention to that and how to customize them, that's totally fine too. Obviously, this is your all's time. I get to be around Lightship every single day, so please use the raise hand function. Just unmute and speak up. Put in chat, whatever. Speak up. Make it interactive. That'll make it more fun. And there are no questions too low or high level. Nothing. No silly questions. No dumb questions. I think one thing I've learned from my time in AR and from time on Lightship is yeah, like I said, we have super diverse audiences and developers here. So just because you might not be a strong coder, and somebody else here might have a background of coding, but they're not strong in design, but you might be strong in design. So like there's no silly questions, no dumb questions. Speak up, make it a conversation. That'd be awesome. So with that, I think I can share screen. Let's see. I'll start with a couple like prerequisites. So if you all have at least had a chance to, presumably you have at least like clicked into the Lightship website. Since you're all here, you know that Lightship exists or what it is a little bit. So step 00, hopefully you've seen like the system requirements. You're aware of what kind of machine and mobile device you need to be able to build on Lightship, so we don't run into any fun hurdles today. And then, of course, the software and tools we need to actually build with Lightship. We won't be downloading these things live because they're big downloads, but things like Unity, Visual Studio, or whatever development environment you prefer. If you want to build to an actual device, then you'll need things like Xcode for iOS devices, an Apple developer account. And then if you're building to an Android device, there are some quirks about Android. So we've got a whole page on the developer site that kind of walks you through all of that. So recommend checking that out. The main goal today won't be building to device. I've found in my time of doing these community events that building to device remotely is very difficult just because everyone's got different devices. A lot of random little things can pop up and it's hard to debug virtually. So I might try to build to my device and then show everybody like what that looks like, but we won't all be, the main goal today won't be getting something to device, just in Unity Editor today. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into things. I'll share a screen and talk through what I'm doing, and please let me know if I'm going too fast or what questions you have, and we'll just kind of go for it. So I'll start sharing screen. Perfect. So the first thing we need to do is actually download Lightship. So I know for some of these setup steps, some of you might have already done this. So please, if you've already done this, yeah, feel free to just tune out for a minute. But this can be found on the Lightship developer account or Lightship developer website. And you will need to make a developer account here to download. So once you've gotten to lightship.dev, there is this downloads tab here on the left, and that'll bring up this page where you can download the ARDK, currently on version 2.0, which just released at the end of May here. So you can go ahead and download that. I won't do it because I've downloaded about 100 times. Download that, put it somewhere that we can find it here in just a minute, so we can bring it into our project shortly. The next thing that we're going to do is download the actual templates. There's my face. So on our lightship.dev site, we have a getting started with templates guide. I believe it's under the learn section, templates. That's how we got here. And here there is the, oh, I'm sorry. That's not correct. It's under guides. Yeah, guides. So we got here under guides and then under templates. And here we can find the download templates button. Again, I've downloaded this several times, so make sure you download that and store it somewhere that we can find it later. So now that we've downloaded the ARDK and we've downloaded the templates package, now we can actually create a fresh Unity project. So we can start bringing things in and making things happen. So I will create a new Unity project by opening Unity Hub. If you have Unity Hub installed, you can do it that way. Or if you don't, you can just do it through Unity. We'll create a new project. And as we're creating the new project, I'm going to use 3D Mobile and give it a project name, Templates Workshop, and then create our project. There will be a fair bit of loading here and there while we bring in packages, bring in our templates in our ARDK here in a little bit, and as we start the project. But I do want to do it live, just because for those of you that are doing it live with me, I don't want to skip ahead several minutes, then this be useless. So we'll wait here while Unity creates our project. Awesome. So now that we're in our new Unity project, for those of you that do want to eventually build the device, first let's edit some build settings by going to File and Build Settings. And we're going to select the platform that you're building to. So the default when you open a Unity project is PC, Mac, and Linux. I'm going to be building to iOS, so I'm going to select that. If you're building to Android, you can select Android. Worth mentioning for those new to Lightship, that Lightship currently supports iOS and Android devices. So those are your only two options right now. And then we need to go into the player settings here. And since Lightship uses both our camera and a location, we need to find this camera usage description and location usage description and enter something here. And what these do is just, if you've ever gotten a pop-up like on an app that says, this app wants to use your location, you press OK or deny. Same with your camera usage. It's just like, what kind of message do you want your application to say as it makes that prompt? So camera usage, I'm just going to say Lightship ARDK for both of them, since we don't actually need our end users to have a very specific message here. Toss those in, press the X. We'll go back, and then we need to press switch platform. So now Unity does a bunch of fancy stuff in the background that basically makes our project here focus on iOS. And then we can exit out. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you, Dakota. Cool. So next we're going to actually import the Lightship ARDK. So bring in all of the tools and features the ARDK offers. And to do that, we go to Assets and Import Package, Custom Package. And then find wherever you downloaded the ARDK and double click it. Take a second, and then everything should be checked by default, but we do want to bring in everything. So everything's checked, and then click import. So take a minute to bring everything in. Great. There will be an error about authentication. Don't worry about that right now, because we will get to that. Awesome. And now we're going to bring in the templates package. So again, same thing, assets, import package, custom package, and then find where you downloaded the templates. There will be two packages here. We'll do each one at a time, and I'll select it and import. I think one of these actually takes a while, so we might have a minute to talk about our weekend. We'll see how it goes. I think this was the one that takes a while. So let's we'll have some conversation here. How many of you are, yeah, actually this is useful anyway. How many of you in the chat, or raise a hand or something, are doing this live, or like wanting to do this live with me today, like actually building things? Okay, awesome. I want to make sure. I know I've done this before where people are actually just like listening in. So I'm glad that we've got some people actually doing it. Good. Yeah, so please feel free to ping the chat or whatever if I'm going too fast. I know since I've done this or something similar I've done several times, sometimes I get talking too fast. So just let me know. I guess just to kill time here. Yeah, one I think as I was talking to like the diversity of different backgrounds of folks here, one thing that templates does try to do, and I think does pretty well, is makes it easier to like onboard and get your hands dirty no matter what your background is. So I know some folks said they have a little bit of C# experience, and some folks come from other AR creation platforms that you know, are maybe similar but different. I think templates at least lets you see some cool things happening. You can dig into it from there, which can be a little bit less intimidating than like, hey, you need to write this big script and you need to be a very technical backgrounded person, or have a lot of Unity experience, which will be super helpful since the ARDK is just a piece of whatever project you want to build. Unity can be important. So definitely, no matter what your background is, recommend getting comfortable with Unity and all its offerings. But yeah, hopefully today, be able to show the templates off and customize them in a way that is approachable for everyone. Yeah, please go ahead and ask questions while we're waiting for this to come in. Sure, Diana. For the build settings, I can't click it right now because I'm importing, but oh yeah, I can. I can. If you go to File, Build Settings, Diana, and then in there you can select iOS as your platform and click Switch Platform. And if you want to actually have this run on device, then you also need to go to the player settings in the bottom left. So you go File, Build Settings, and then in the bottom left, there's a player settings, and you'll need to select, there are two fields in there. One is called camera usage description, and one is called location usage description. Those are basically what pops up if you open an app and it says, this app wants to use your location or your camera. And you just type in like the reasons. So since we're just testing around, I just put in Lightship ARDK. If it was a real app, you might want to say for this one feature or for this one function. So the user knows like, well, why do you need to use my camera? I guess for this, it's like, well, we're doing AR, so obviously we need your camera. Yep, and then that'll change automatically. I think the frame with the phone size here. And I think you can do that anyway, but like without switching platform, but it's an easy way to just get there.
So that would be once the app is packaged and ready to submit to iOS, this would be enough, or do I have to move other properties for that?
Sorry, can you say one more time?
Once the app is ready and packaged, do I have to move any other settings, or this is ready?
Once you've done file build settings, and then in the players, select iOS first. And then in the player settings, there are the camera usage description and the location usage description. So you want to enter things there. For actually launching an app, you'll need other information like this bundle identifier version build. This information is actually important. And maybe even some of the provisioning profile stuff. But for the sake of just testing on your device, on your phone, that's not as important right now.
Okay, so thank you.
Yep, input that information and then make sure there be a switch platform button right here to switch to iOS.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so we successfully imported the Lightship Hub. Now we need to import the mock environments. So I said that there were 2 packages that came when you downloaded the templates. So the other one is this mock environments. We're going to bring this one in real quick as well. What the mock environments do is there are like a living room with tables and chairs, or an outdoor area, basically pre-developed areas, or rooms, outside areas that allow for easy testing. So you don't have to build your own room or walls. It's all, that's already set up for you to test. Awesome. Yeah, I might address that in a little bit. I want to stick with the focus on templates at the moment here. So next we need to set up our authentication. And authentication is we need to create what's called an API key if you don't already have one. And an API key is a way that tells us at Niantic what app is using our technology, just in case, I guess, for reasons of doing anything harmful or using our services way too much or improperly, just in a way of identity service of knowing who you are. So to do that, we start here at our dashboard. And then we can go to, I believe it's projects now at the new site, and you can create a new project if you don't have one, or if you already have one. Essentially, I'll go ahead and just create one here. Project description, I'll call it, templates workshop. And then you're going to create a new key. Great. So now we have a key here, and you're going to click here to copy it. And we're going to take this key into our Unity project. And then we're going to go to, let's see, up here, you'll see this Lightship menu now exists, by the way. So after we brought in the Lightship templates and Lightship Hub, that's what this brought in, this new menu as well. So we'll go up here to Lightship and go to Lightship Hub, and then configuration helper window. And then here we're going to paste in our API key and click setup. And it says Lightship's been set up correctly. That means that your project has the API key being used, and you can communicate with our APIs and with Lightship's services properly. So just a prerequisite there, all good. Okay, so yeah, let's explore the Lightship menu a little bit. As I mentioned, this Lightship menu now exists. We have Virtual Studio, which is a way of testing things remotely in the editor without needing to actually go outside to test AR. And then we have the Lightship Hub, which has the welcome menu, this configuration helper window, which just set up our API key, and as well as a quick menu to the templates that are offered. With voice crack.
Hey, Braxton,
Yeah,
can I chime in real quick?
please.
So in the Lightship Hub, there's a resources folder that you have to disable. So it's connected to what we just did with adding the API key.
Okay. And under here.
Yeah. So there's a separate section that always fails when trying to build.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll need to actually delete that.
Yep. Delete the resources folder.
Okay. So that's in for those following along under assets, and then Lightship Hub, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. And then we'll delete this resources folder. I think what happens is there are actually our API key is in two places, I think, and they're just kind of stepping on each other. So we'll go ahead and delete that resources folder. And hopefully that clears things up. Thank you, Dakota. Okay, so exploring the Lightship Hub menu here, I want to show off the welcome window. If we click welcome, we see this page, which has the different templates, shows you in a nice little UI, shows you what's available, what you can play with. It's broken up into a couple of sections here. So you have some of the AR fundamentals, which we have object placement and plane tracking, which object placement is a demo scene that allows you to place a gift box anywhere in the scene, or I guess anywhere on the floor in the scene. You click around, you place it. It leverages some of Niantic's tools, like I think it does hit testing in detecting those planes. And then plane tracking, this shows you how to drive a little virtual car on the floor of a scene, allowing you to drive it and demonstrating how your Lightship detects the plane or detects the floor. So the car is always driving on the floor and making its own route detection there. Several different contextual awareness samples or templates, things, textures, occlusion, meshing, collisions. So I won't dive into each feature specifically because it'll be a long-winded day. But yeah, if you're not familiar with things like occlusion or not familiar with things like meshing, please suggest checking out the developer site to read more about it. And we also have more tutorials there. Semantic segmentation, which is Lightship's ability to determine what is grass from what is sky, from what is ground, from water. Yes, segmenting those different channels, and we have more on the way. Shared AR is an example of using our networking stack. So we do have, Lightship does have networking features that allows you to create shared experiences or multiplayer experiences in your application. Good way to demo and test that. And then our visual positioning system, which is the big launch that came at the end of May. Visual positioning system is a way to create curated experiences at specific locations. So a great example of what that would look like are if you're familiar with Pokemon Go, Pokestops are an example of locations that Niantic knows in our backend. We have scans and GPS information about those locations. So as a developer, you can use locations like that to create experiences very specific to that location. So let's take the example of doing a virtual tour around a city. You can guide users to a statue and have them have a digital experience happen there. So that's a pretty deep topic, but it is the new launch, and there are a few different samples here to dig into some of the different features. Definitely recommend checking out the developer site for more on this. We won't be touching the visual positioning system too much today, since it is a little bit more heavy and more difficult to I guess to test and to show off. So we'll focus on some of the lighter things so we can make sure we get a good basis of using templates and how to play with them.
Hey, Ant, I see you raised your hand.
I think they raised their hand. Oh,
Hi.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. just a quick question about visual positioning. Is
Sure.
that something that is just that you guys have kind of determined yourselves, or is there going to be a situation where we can kind of apply to have our own locations added, or is it just purely on whatever you've decided beforehand?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So as a developer, right now you can easily get private locations set up. So let's say you've got a location, right outside your backyard or a block away, so you don't have to go, find a big hub and test. So you can set up private locations, no problem. Private means that they're only findable by you or usable by you. So if we have this VPS coverage API, which allows you to search for nearby VPS locations. Other developers won't be able to see your private locations, so you don't have to worry about the statue in your the fountain in your backyard becoming publicly findable by other developers. And as far as creating a new public location, that's possible. The process is still kind of being defined. I know that if you wanted to create a new public location, it requires like 25 good quality scans, so we have a good understanding of the mesh and location, the geometry there. And I think you start out by the same process you do for private scans. So that's done using our Wayfarer app, which is currently in beta, and there's instructions on the developer site for how to download the Wayfarer app and start creating those private locations. But yeah, eventually there'll be a more formal process for, I think this should be a public VPS location, and you submit that, we review it, that sort of thing. So it's kind of also fresh that it's coming.
Okay, no, that's great. It was just that I was thinking down the line, if there was a specific location I wanted to use for something, as long as there's a way to, even if it's, as you say, on a case-by-case basis, to talk to you guys about it, there is scope for that, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's absolutely possible. It's just not, I wouldn't say it's the most scalable or clear process right now, but we're here, like you said, we're here to help case by case, especially.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dakota, for the Wayfarer link. Awesome. So from here, I wanted to dive into a couple of the templates. We'll start with one, and then we'll do another, and then we'll kind of try to mix and match them, which should be a fun little experiment, because the templates aren't really meant to work on top of each other. But I think it'll be a fun challenge to do it live and figure out how to make one template work with another, to just demonstrate how you can extract pieces to like use them for your own project. So with that being said, let's go ahead and open the plane tracker scene. So that's going to be under, again, we can go to Lightship Hub. We can go to, actually, we can just go to templates. Oops, Lightship Hub, templates, AR fundamentals, and plane tracker. So we'll open that. And then actually, not sure if I did something wrong or if you have to do this manually, but if you're like mine, you need the interior mock environment. So we brought in those mock environments earlier as one of the packages. So under your assets, we have this Lightship Hub mock environments, and there should be a mesh interior scene. And we're going to click and drag that. It's a prefab, which just means it's a pre-created Unity asset that's reusable. We can drag that into our scene, which basically brings this whole room into our scene. So now we've got this nice, beautiful living room, and I'm just zooming in a little bit. You got this nice, beautiful living room. You can see this little car, which will be the car that drives around. Some tables, some chairs, a door, a nice plant. And if you go ahead and run your scene, I believe you should be able to, you can scroll your mouse, by the way, to use the camera. So you can click once to spawn the car. And then I believe everywhere you click, the car will drive there. So you click here, it'll turn around and drive there. Kind of a fun little thing, demonstrating that Niantic is detecting the floor as like a plane. And the car part is just totally custom coding, but it's recognizing that, hey, this is a physical plane. And the reason the mock environment is here so we can test in the Unity editor, but it's meant to demonstrate that if you were to not include this living room scene and just have the car, you could install this on your own mobile device and point it at your carpet, and the car should drive around on your carpet, on your living room floor, on your, around your house, or outside on the ground. Actually, it'd probably work better inside since it's doing planes. But point being, this is just supposed to demonstrate in Unity, hey, this car will drive around on your floor. Yeah, Ant, I see your hand up.
Sorry, that's from before.
Oh,
Sorry.
no worries, no worries.
Sorry.
Yeah, so this is a super simple example. And just supposed to demonstrate. So you'll see some let's go through some of the components that this scene has. We won't dive into depth into what all these do, but this is an example of why templates are useful as a starting point. You can kind of dig into each thing as you need. So a bunch of I need to get rid of the zoom menu. There we go. So let's start with each object in the hierarchy here in our Unity scene. So starting with the camera, we see some things like an AR camera position helper, AR rendering manager. These are components or scripts that Lightship offers out of the box. They don't start on the camera. You actually, if you create a brand new Unity project without the templates, you'll need to add these to your camera to get it to use Lightship and use AR properly. But essentially, what these do, there are a variety of components that just make having the Lightship AR experience easier and everything work as expected. I couldn't even tell you every single detail of what these do, but basically, it's just taking complex things like using your phone camera as the main game camera and making that easier for you. So without this AR camera position helper, you'd have to write your own specific code to tell your app, hey, my phone camera is going to be the camera for the game at all times, follow around my device at all times, things like that. So we'll always add these two are actually staples. Pretty much anytime you create a Lightship project, you'll need those with your camera. Here we have an AR controller, and this is kind of the main object or scripts for the scene itself. And these are custom scripts. These are not out of the box Lightship things, but when we created these templates, we also included these scripts which help our scene work. So some of these are doing the work that makes the car drive around and detect the planes. So something like a plane tracker controller. If we dig into that, we can go ahead and open it real quick. I'll check out what it looks like. And to do that, you can right click and edit scripts, which now it's popping up down here for some reason. But yeah, there, if you right click and do edit scripts, you can open this script and see what this looks like. I think you'll find that it'll do some plane detecting, which is what I was saying, that it recognizes the floor and gives the floor like those physical properties so the car can drive around on it. I won't walk through this line by line, but things like detecting when you click as well. That's actually an important thing. So what this is doing right here is Unity update is a Unity function. So in a Unity project, this is called every frame. And this is some Lightship specific stuff that we're basically saying, hey, every time that somebody touches the phone, or in our case, in the editor, we're clicking. Every time we click that, we're going to call this touch began function. And without going through all this is saying is, hey, wherever we touched, let's drive the car there. if there is a plane there, if we still detect the floor being there, let's drive the car there. So we won't walk through all that. There's even some math involved, but it's a good example of if you wanted to incorporate planes into your project, you could use this as a starting point and probably pull some pieces from that, copy and paste some things, that sort of thing. Just an example. Let's see, I want to make sure that we're still good. Very interested in making VPS coverage for on-campus. Yes, that is doable, Natalie. There's you check out the documentation. I can actually, I think I already have a tab up with it, so I can go ahead and send it real quick. So here is the high level VPS documentation. A lot of subsections there, so you can figure out how to actually start making scans, but it's in there. See some good conversation. Thank you, Dakota. There be any chance of a VPS session similar to this ahead of the closing date for the competition? To do like a VPS specific, we could look at doing, I have to talk to Haley about schedules and what that looks like and my calendar and all that. But in general, Michael, do you think it'd be more useful to do how to use the templates, or do you think it'd be useful to do how to, like a product session? I think I don't remember the last time we did a VPS product session, but the difference would be, oh, okay. So maybe we'd want to focus on a templates, which yeah, I imagine that's something we could do. It could also be shorter just to show you how to get up and running with them and what they're supposed to do. But that's totally, yeah, I think it's in the realm of possibilities. And VPS with Mapbox. So as y'all are exploring VPS, you'll see that we don't have full mapping, like overhead map, Pokemon Go map functionality yet. So Mapbox or Google Maps is something you could integrate to make your VPS experience even better. Like, hey, I'm going to use Google Maps or Mapbox to guide users down the street. But once you get there, then you can use VPS to have an experience around this one statue or mural. That's actually content I'd like to do at some point. We have a whole list of content that we'd like to do. So I don't know if that's something, I don't know if I'll end up making that or not, but I would love to do an example of how to integrate Mapbox or Google Maps with VPS at some point. Cool. Let's continue on to more conversation. Okay. Let's continue on to, let's go to another scene here real quick. So this is fun plane tracking example scene. You can pick pieces apart here. See if there's anything else I want to go through. I guess one more thing worth mentioning, this AR manager object. So this is just a place, like an empty Unity object that is holding some of our AR specific functionality. So in the same way that I mentioned, some of the cameras script components are just making your life easier to use AR. This AR manager has some components on the right here, like AR session manager, and AR plane manager, which AR plane manager is specific to plane detecting. So in that script we were just looking through, I think it actually leverages this AR plane manager script to make sure we're detecting all planes is selected here. So that basically says the car can't drive up and down vertical planes, or in this instance, that we're only going to be looking for horizontal planes, which in this case is the floor. AR session manager, this is also a staple whenever you're using a Lightship AR game, scene, app, whatever. And essentially what this does, as the name suggests, is it takes care of a lot of things of managing your AR session. So starting the camera on your phone, notifying Lightship that like configuring some things that allow you to use the AR features, making sure your device is capable of using AR features, just messy little things that try to take some of the work away from you having to do it. And there's a lot of different fields you can play with. We won't walk through those today. We'll leave them as is, but the more the more you play with them, the more you understand why they're important. Something like, you'll see a lot of these components have this manage using Unity lifecycle field, and it's checked in this example. What that means is basically it means, do you want this to start when Unity starts? And for us, yeah, we want AR to start right away, but for some apps, let's think about Pokemon Go that only has very specific AR features. You don't want AR running the whole time. You only want AR running when you go into buddy mode, or when you are playing with other people, or when you click a button. So you would uncheck that, and then in code, you would say, okay, now start the AR session when we click this button. Anyway, just poking around a few of the different things in this template. So that's the plane tracking template. Next, let's check out the mesh collider template, and then we'll figure out how to combine the two to make a fun little thing. So going to the mesh collider template, you can go to Lightship Hub and templates again. And this one's under contextual awareness. And then mesh collider. Oh, and then I need to, okay, so you need to create a new scene first. So file, new scene, and you can take this basic built-in, create, that'll just create an empty scene. Now we can go to Lightship Hub templates, contextual awareness, and go to mesh collider. Okay, cool. So once again, we'll want to go to our assets and Lightship Hub mock environments to find our mesh interior scene again, and click and drag that in. Actually, I want to stop real quick. Can I get like some hand raises or some chats of like, for those of you following along, were you able to get that last template working? Probably should have made sure of that.
The AR manager in this template is something that I add myself, or it was there already? Because for me, it's not showing.
In this scene?
Yes, the AR manager.
Yeah, the AR manager should already be there. So when you create your new scene and then you went to Lightship Hub templates and contextual awareness mesh collider, you click that. That should create this scene with the birthday present and probably a black screen to start. But the AR manager should be in there.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's here. For
Okay,
the other scene is that it also would show the AR manager when I add the template, right? It always comes with the template, basically.
Yep, it should come with a template. Okay. And yeah, they'll be named the same thing. For some things, they'll do slightly different things. Actually, I think they do mostly the same thing, but actually you'll see that this scene doesn't have the plane manager. So they do slightly different things.
Oh.
So what this scene does, and then I guess make sure we're all on the same page, just to make sure you go to your assets and Lightship Hub mock environments, and then click and drag that mesh interior again. So click and drag that. So we get our beautiful living room here. And then what this scene does, when we click play, this should allow us to throw presents when you click, and they will end up on the floor and stack up, which is fun. It's Christmas. We love presents. So what this scene does is it's called Mesh Collider because it's showing how we can have our digital objects interact with the real world around us. And I say a real world, I know that we're working with a fake living room, but again, think of this as the real living room. We just are demoing it in Unity, so we don't have to port it to our phone every time we want to test something. So the biggest differences between this and the plane tracker scene is this uses meshing instead of plane detection. So what plane detection does is it looks for stable planes. So walls and floors are the easiest example of planes. A floor is going to be a big flat surface, the same way that walls are generally going to be a tall flat surface. And meshing actually looks for any geometry and applies physical properties to that. So the way that the plane detection wouldn't give physical properties to our plant in the lower left-hand corner, meshing would. It's going to recognize that as an object. If we threw a present at the plant, I don't think we can because of the way the camera is set up, but if we threw a present and it hit the plant, it would bounce off of it. Doesn't make it all the way down. Yeah, it falls down. But if we did, it would bounce off the plant, give it those physical properties. So some of the key differences here are, let's see, let's start with this AR mesh object. So this AR mesh object is a prefab that comes with Lightship ARDK. And again, a prefab in Unity, for those with not as much Unity experience, a prefab is essentially an object or a component that you can reuse. So the same with, think our mesh interior is a prefab. We can drag that into a million scenes. It's not like use it once and it's done. It's just a reusable object. It's already been configured and made. So this AR mesh prefab is something that comes with Lightship, and comes with this AR mesh manager component script on the right here, and essentially basically tells our app that, hey, we're going to look for mesh, we're going to look for geometry, we're going to look for objects in the world, and we're going to give them those physical properties. So this is what allows our scene to recognize the floor, recognize chairs and plants, and even our presence, if they were real world objects, to give them those physical properties, to bounce off each other, to have weight, to collide, all that stuff. Let's see, any other very specific things here. You'll find there's another AR controller object in this scene, just like the last scene. You'll see that some of the scripts and components are different here. So we've got a mesh controller script, a mesh collider controller script. I'm going to open this up and see what this says and what this does. So I just hold on, I need to get rid of the Zoom. Oh man. Oh well. So we're in our mesh collider controller script. And essentially what this script is doing is similar to the last one. It's saying, hey, when we detect a touch, we're going to instantiate or create a new object. And in this case, we're creating the present. So let's create the present. And then we're going to say, we're getting a starting point here. Where do we want to start throwing the present? We're going to toss it into the scene. This is saying like, hey, wherever they touch in relation to the camera, that's where we're going to toss it. And then it has some velocity and rotation position. Basically, all these properties are just saying when we toss our present into the scene, what are the properties? How are we going to toss it into the scene? And that's how we toss it forward. I think we could actually change some of these properties. Maybe we'll mess with them here in a minute to make them be thrown faster, for example. So back in our Unity scene, I also want to show really quickly and easily how easy it is to replace some things in our scene. So let's take, you'll see this replace me object. And this replace me object is in most of the templates, if not all of them, as a way to allow us to like put in our own object instead of using the present all the time. So let's take, we're going to take this gift body and gift cover, and I'm going to delete both of these. So now under this replace me object, let's click it once and then right click and go to 3D object, and we'll click sphere. So we've just created our own object now, and I'm just going to call this sphere, we're going to call it ball. So now we have a ball. You'll see that we've replaced the present with our own object, a ball. This could be any object you create. Maybe you are a modeler yourself, so you have your own models you want to bring in and use. I'm just, for a simple example, also I'm not a modeler, so just create a little ball here. The ball is huge, so I'm going to go over to the right, and under scale I'm going to do 0.2, 0.2, and 0.2 for the X, Y, and Z. You'll see that makes the ball a lot smaller. Whoops. And then you'll see that the ball kind of starts halfway into the ground. So I'm going to go to, let's go to our Y position on the ball and raise it up to, that's too high. Raise it up to 0.2 is fine. That's just so it's not inside the ground. Awesome. So we've replaced, take a look at chat, make sure Okay, looks like, thank you, Dakota, for hopping on questions as they come in. Super helpful. Looks like we're no super concerning or people getting behind yet, which is awesome. Or if they are, they're not speaking up. So please do speak up if I'm
Hey.
going too fast. Yeah.
Hey, Braxton, can you just show them in the main camera how to change the color to solid?
Oh, yeah, sure. In the templates, that I think it should come that way, but in
It
in your
usually
main-
does.
Okay. But in your main camera, when you start a new Unity scene, this will start as skybox. So we want to change this to solid color. So that's on your camera, over here on in the inspector on your camera. And then for background, you can click that and just drag it all the way bottom left to be plain black.
Thank you
And
so
the reason we do that is basically just to have a black canvas while we're working. Once we actually attach all of our camera scripts, which the templates come with it, the AR camera, rendering manager, camera position helper, some of those features, those components. Once we have those, the I guess background won't really matter because we're going to tell our app and our scene that we're using the phone camera for everything. So this is just a way to, I guess, make your development a little bit smoother and more, I don't know, easy. So we've replaced our present with a sphere object, and now we've made it a little bit smaller. We've raised it up just a little bit. I think by raising it, that might actually make the clicking a little funky, but that's okay. So now if we click play, we should be throwing a ball instead, and we are. So you can see when you click, it throws balls instead of presents. And it's starting the ball a little bit too high because I adjusted that to 0.2. It's basically the way the script works is saying, oh, you want to start 0.2 up? Sure, you'll click and we'll toss it above you, which for this demonstration isn't a big deal. But so just a fun example, see if we can hit the plant. Oh, not quite. Anyway. Oh, get it. There it is. It bounced off the plant. Okay, so that's an example of meshing being like, oh yeah, there's an object there. Yeah, we want to bounce off of it.
Just a quick distinction between meshing and plane detection as well,
Yeah,
is that plane
please.
detection won't spawn a physical mesh for things to interact with. It just detects where a plane exists.
Yeah.
So like to get this specific interaction with the floor, you'd have to have your meshing inside the scene instead of plane detection.
Yeah, thank you. So that's a super easy, small customization we can do with the templates. And like the replace me literally asks you to do that. So that's great. What I want to do now is try to combine, actually, while you're on this scene, we created a new scene. So go ahead and save this. I'm just going to Control S or Command S, save scene. I'll just call it our Mesh Collider demo, Mesh Collider workshop, because we'll want to. So now we're going to try to combine these two things. So we have our where did our scene go with our there. So we have, if you go to assets and scenes, this is probably where we were just working with our car scene. Hopefully, it's probably where we're all at. If we open that, I want to try to bring in some meshing and our shooting of the balls, and have the car drive around the balls and like everything interact with one another. So how to do that? And we're kind of doing this live, so we'll work through this together. There'll probably be some errors as we do this, but that'll be part of the fun. So I'm going to go back as a starting point. I'm going to go back to our Mesh Collider workshop scene that we just saved. So I saved that under assets. This is where we were just shooting the ball. So let's go here. Thinking through, we want the ball, we want the logic that's shooting the ball, and we want that meshing those are the components or the pieces that we need to make our ball shoot in to make our ball interact with the scene around us. So that's kind of the first starting point I think about of, okay, if I want to bring in, if I want to combine meshing, the mesh collider scene and the plane tracking scene, I want to look for those properties. So for example, looking at let's start with the camera. The camera has our position helper, our rendering manager. Well, our other scene already has all that. So I don't think we need to bring any of these pieces. These are the basic AR stuff. We already have that, don't need that. Same with the AR manager. Our other scene already has an AR manager. It already has our AR session manager script. It's handling all of that. So we don't need any of that stuff either. So main camera, AR manager, we don't need those. We don't need our mesh interior scene because it has that too. So I want to hone in on the AR mesh and the AR controller. The AR mesh, as I said earlier, is that prefab that basically makes meshing work in the scene around us. So pretty good indicator, we're going to need this. Since this is a prefab and it exists somewhere in our assets already. I think it's somewhere in the ARDK, probably under, well, it's not particularly important where it's at, but we can search for, we can find this later is my point. So we'll probably want the AR mesh. And then our AR controller, we were looking at that script earlier, the mesh collider script, and we know that this script is what's responsible for shooting the ball forward and having that actually shoot into our scene and bounce around. So we know that we're going to need something from our AR controller also. So I think a good starting point is, let's see what happens if we bring in our AR mesh and our AR controller into our other scene and start from there. And we're probably going to have a few things to work through, but that's where we kind of try to strip and figure out what's already there and what we need to do. So let's start by selecting our AR mesh and our AR controller. So I just do that by holding shift and selecting both. And I'm going to right click and click copy. And then I'm going to find our scene again from earlier. So assets, for me, it's under scenes, probably for you too. And I didn't even rename it. So it's called sample scene for me. And this is our car scene. So opening the car scene, we're going to go up into the hierarchy here, and I'm going to right click and paste those. So now we've got our AR mesh brought in, which is great. And it brought in the AR mesh manager script, which is going to allow us to detect mesh. And we have another AR controller. Since they're named the same thing, you'll see that our new one has a little 1 in parentheses. That's fine for the sake of this. For the sake of this demo, we know that this is the one from our meshing example. So I'm now going to save the scene and see what errors we have. This is okay. This is just confusion with our authentication. Oh yeah, this should be okay. So if I play this, I don't expect it to work, but I just want to see what issues happen. So something, I'm sure we'll get some error here. It's not just going to work right off the bat. And we do get an error. This is where we get to debug live together. I did walk through this already, so I have an idea of what's not going to work. But so first we're getting an object reference not set to an instance of an object. So this is kind of fun. We'll debug this together. It tells us there's an error at line 106 on the mesh controller script. So the mesh controller script is right here attached to the AR controller. So let's right click and edit script. And then we're going to go to line 106 and see what is erroring. That error generally means that, hey, you're trying to do something, but we don't know what that object is. So in line 106, we're doing this if we have an AR session and we've loaded context awareness. So one of these two things is not there, does not exist yet. And I have a feeling that this AR session manager is like being auto detected in the other scene and is not being detected. Since we copy and paste it, it doesn't know where to look for that AR session anymore. So what we're going to do is scroll up to line 17. You'll see this hide in inspector. And what this does is in Unity, you can customize some fields just in Unity in the inspector. So you'll see over here, you can check this checkbox. You can change this world mesh material. Those are some of these features, some of these fields. But you don't see this one because we tell it to hide an inspector. But we know this needs to get assigned. So what I'm going to do, and I'll explain why I'm doing this, but follow along for now. We're going to remove the hide edit inspector and then save your script, just Command S. And we'll go back to Unity. And now you'll see that there's this AR session manager field. And we need to set this. So right now it says none. So that's why in the script, it's basically saying, hey, you're telling me to do something with an AR session manager, but I don't see an AR session manager. There's none there. So we know that there's already an AR session manager in this scene somewhere. I think it's in the AR manager. So if I click the AR manager, there is the AR session manager here. So we need to tell our script, hey, your AR session manager is right here, use this. So we'll go back to our AR controller and I'm going to click and drag the AR manager object. And I'm going to drag it all the way to the right into this AR session manager field. So now what I just did is I'm saying, hey, this AR manager has the AR session manager that you're looking for. So in our script, like use the AR manager's AR session manager. And then I'm going to save. And if I play, now if I click play, I expect that error to go away. I think there's going to be another one, but that's just one step at a time here. So now if I click, oh, maybe not. Okay, so maybe, oh wait. Okay, yeah. Okay, we do have one more error. So let's get that resolved. We start clicking things, some things are working, which is great, but let's get all these errors resolved first. So now we have the variable camera of object holder controller has not been assigned. So we know that this AR controller object, if we drop it down, has this object holder object. So that, and I'm guessing that's where our object holder controller is. So we'll go there. Maybe not. Oh no, it's in our AR controller. So here's this object holder controller script. So it's telling us there's a camera variable in there that is not set. So let's, under AR controller, we have this object holder controller. Let's right click that and edit script. And I think this is, I think we're going to solve this with a similar thing. So here we have a camera and I'm going to guess that this is the camera that it's complaining about. And this is also a hidden in inspector. So there's probably a more graceful way to edit this in code, but let's just remove that hide from inspector again, and then Command S to save it. And then back in Unity, you'll now see that this camera field shows up here. So now we're going to go to our main camera and we're going to click and drag this onto that camera. It's saying, just like the last one, we're just saying, hey, you're looking for a camera. This is the camera that you're looking for. And in the other template scene, that was kind of happening automatically with some other scripts. But since we copy and pasted pieces, now it's like throwing its hands up in the air, like, I don't know where the camera is that you're telling me to look for. So now we're telling it like, hey, use this camera. So I want to see if we've gotten to this. Yes, I assume this recording will be made available. Yep. Thank you, Dakota. So now we should be able to click save your scene, Command S again real quick. And now when we play, I would expect clicking around to both shoot a ball and spawn our car, which it does. So that's great. So now every time you click, it'll shoot a ball and drive our car. So I'm going to click here to drive the car here. And now you can see the car interacting with the balls. Now it just creates chaos, like driving around a ball pit. But we've now incorporated meshing and our plane tracking. So the car is using plane tracking to drive around the planes. Meshing is also happening for the balls to bounce around the space. And for fun, the car is now pushing balls around just for fun. So that's just, I guess, a fun example of how to combine, to take each template is really meant to demonstrate a specific or a couple of specific features. And this is just an example of how you can combine features using the templates. It might be, I mean, another way we could have done this is we could have just created a new ball and written a new script. And honestly, once you get comfortable, that is probably a cleaner and easier way to do that. But for you know, if you're still new to Lightship, if you're still getting your hands dirty with templates, this is a way to take bits and pieces from the templates and figure out, hey, I have this plane tracking scene, but I also want meshing. So how can I take stuff from the meshing scene or the meshing template and add meshing into my plane tracking template to use both features in one thing. And yeah, and we did it live. That was not the cleanest or like prepared ahead of time thing, but it just shows how you know, you can debug, you can use, you know, deductive reasoning and figure out which pieces we need and make it happen. So that's really the bulk of what I planned on showing today, at least in terms of showing a couple of different templates, walking through, merging those together to create one cohesive scene and making those work in unison. It's really just supposed to serve as an introduction and like a jumping off point for, you know, you could take any of these features and go start playing with them on your own and hopefully give you an idea or a starting point of how to combine them, how to start using different features with the templates, and how to start thinking about that. We can think about, I know we have plenty of extra time, so if people want to, we can talk about what to do next, but I do want to say, drop some links in chat before we kind of start winging it and go on our own here. I want to drop in our tutorials pages. So our tutorials don't really use the templates. They're kind of different things, but the tutorials do a good job of focusing on individual features. So maybe you want to incorporate meshing from scratch. Actually, we have a tutorial of the ball shooting mechanism in like a fresh scene. So maybe you don't need the fake living room, you don't need the car, you don't need the template. But I think that's the one that I recorded actually. So if you want to go watch my face talk about how to shoot a ball in your living room by using meshing and creating your own digital ball, that's a fun tutorial to do that from scratch. But there's way more than that. There's everything from multiplayer and VPS and semantic segmentation. Pretty much every feature is covered in there to some degree. And we're always talking about how to create more content and tutorials along the way. Currently, just lately, I've been in conversations about creating a public GitHub, which I'm a big proponent of. I would love that. It's something I've had experience in my past. I was previously in developer relations at Twitch, and we had a public GitHub where you know, we could create sample projects and the community could come and either add their own twist to them or maybe have better suggestions or collaborate on projects. So hopefully that's something we can get kicked off in the coming weeks or months. And then I think you're probably all in it if you are here, but just in case there are other means of this, actually hold on, that might not be the right link, but if you're not in the Discord, we can get you in the Discord. I don't think that's an invite link. I think we need an invite link. Let me see. I found it, invite link. Okay, cool. Discord. there's an invite link. If you're not in the Discord, join it. That's where all of our developers talk and hang out. You can help each other, solve problems. If you're running into an issue, there's a really high chance that somebody else is either running into it or has run into it and it's been solved before. So, post there, talk with people, help other people solve their problems. Maybe meet somebody that you can jam on a project with together. I think that's already happened a couple of times, at least for some of these challenges and hackathons. I know people have met through the community this way, which is super awesome. And I think I had one more link. Just follow us on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Of course, don't miss the updates. VPS was the big launch at the end of May. And that was, to make sure you're in the know, you're seeing these launches. Discord, Twitter, Instagram, great ways to keep up with what's going on. So recommend checking it out there. Thank you, Haley, for posting the lensless challenge. I know Haley mentioned it when we started. But for those that joined after, part of the reason that we're here doing this session is that we have the templates challenge, which click that link for more information, but it's essentially a development challenge, a hackathon of sorts, that you can create projects, based on these templates, while we promote these templates as well to get it out there, that these exist, and to hopefully make the development process and using Lightship a little bit less intimidating, because we know development can be a lot to bite off and chew, but always want to make your lives easier. So with that, I want to open it up to conversation, questions, comments. Happy to show some of the VPS templates with the extra time if that's of interest. But I want to force somebody else to speak up and say what is of interest, or questions, comments, all that. So now I'm going to shut up and make somebody else talk.
This is just a very quick question, and this is very basic about Unity. Sorry about that question. But now that I'm here, why it could be that when I go into the play mode, it just shows everything black?
Yeah, so I'm wondering if there was a misstep. Do you have, which scene is this? Is this the mesh collider or the plane tracking one?
Oh, the mesh collider.
Okay, mesh collider. So do you at least see the present?
No, everything is black. Yeah,
Okay.
I saw how you did it. Like, it was so fast.
Okay.
I mean, but I saw it, and it seems there were not additional steps, so I don't know why. Is it something in my configuration in Unity, maybe?
So the templates should take care of all the configuration anyway, I think, unless you're zoomed in way too far. But I think so since it's real quick, let's try quickly again to file new scene, and then you can make sure you do choose basic here instead of empty. I don't think this contains a camera, so make sure you do basic.
Yeah.
Create, and then after you've created the new scene, Lightship hub, templates, contextual awareness, mesh collider, and once you click that, you should at least have the present.
Okay.
Is it still completely black?
It's when I hit play. I can see it in the other, like in the normal mode, but in play, everything is black. Maybe so far away or something. I can move stuff here.
If you click, does it shoot the present?
In the play mode, I cannot see anything because it's totally black.
But if you click,
yes, it shows the present. Yes.
It does shoot the present. Okay, then that's okay. So then the only thing I think you need to do is in your project assets. So over here in the bottom left for me, you'll see the Lightship Hub mock environments.
Yes.
And then click that, and you'll see a mesh interior.
Yeah.
Now click and drag that into your hierarchy up here.
Oh, I already did that process. Yes, that's done. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you see this when you're in regular mode, or when you're in, how do I move this stupid Zoom thing? Hold on. My Zoom, there we go. Okay. There. So you see this in your game view, like in this game tab, you see the living room,
Yes.
but then you click play and the living room goes away.
Oh, sorry. I was in
Oh, great.
another, I was in the scene, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, it's great. Yeah, I know I go fast, so I want to make sure we get there. And then you can use your, well, I have an Apple mouse, so I can use that to look around. And then if you click, you should be able to toss presents on the floor.
Yeah. Okay. When I go to the game, it's black and it just shows the gift. Yes.
Okay, and then that's where you drag in this mesh interior from assets, Lightship Hub mock environments, and that's where you drag in this mesh interior. And then the living room should show up.
Oh, so it's kind of like I do it like twice because I had it in the scene and I did it in the scene. Okay, I understand now.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I was seeing it anyways in the scene, but I thought that I didn't need to drop it in the game. Anyways, works now. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem.
In addition to that, Braxton, if you go into Lightship, if you just pull up Virtual Studio, you can spawn that scene in automatically without having to drop it in every time.
By
the
going
mock.
mock
And then you click the mesh interior scene.
okay.
So that's just a way for it to pull up every time without you having to manually put it in every scene. So every time you hit play, it'll bring up that mock environment.
Thank you. So you went to Visual Studio and remote, or mock, right?
Lightship, ARDK, Virtual Studio.
Okay. Yeah, because I used to that, but I always saw it empty, but it's now in mock is where I find the stuff. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dakota. I think that's the better way to do it. So my bad.
They both work perfectly fine.
That's super great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's fun to see little like baby steps and seeing things that you customize like come to life. That's the excitement of like learning any, I guess, AR app game stuff for me anyway. Get excited like when things work. You're like, all right.
Yes.
Thank
you. I'm gonna leave the floor for the VPS stuff.
In addition to that, Braxton, can you show them how to do the Android permission requester for those of us who are building to Android?
Yeah, let's so that
It should just be in the AR controller.
Oh, okay. And it it under, I thought it was already in here, but maybe not. AR manager. Oh yeah, okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so this in Dakota, I've almost strictly done iOS, so Dakota, I might let you speak on it a little bit, but actually, yeah, why don't I just do that, please? Go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah, so for Android, it's a bit tricky. There's a couple little things that happen. This Android permission requester is going to be your friend for getting any sort of request to camera or location. So in every template, it should have this permission set up, and it should already have your camera populated. If you're working with VPS, you're going to have to change that permission to 3. Yeah, so you go ahead and change that to 3. And those other element 1 and 2, go ahead and set to either fine or course location, but you need to have both fine and course location triggered in order to have VPS working correctly. And that'll just pop up the little thing that says, hey, do you want to give permission to this app for your location? And then you can just, oh yeah, only while using. Also, you guys might get a small little thing that happens if you have a newer Android phone. And that I'll probably just find the link for that, but you just need to add something into the Android manifest file that'll allow you. Basically what happens is when you, on newer phones, when you launch an AR application, it'll ask you to update your AR functionality, and you have to do something in the manifest so it triggers that properly. There's not actually anything you have to update. Yeah, so that build guide, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it'll walk you through how to add that manifest.
Yeah, and yeah, worth noting. Android does have several little steps that if you miss one, it can be hard to figure out, like, why is my camera not working on my Android device? Why is my screen black? Why I want to play? So if you do want to build to device and you are going to build to an Android, please walk through this building for Android step by step, this guide. Walk through it 2 or 3 times, because they're like
It's a bit tricky.
yeah, I've voiced this feedback a few times and it says like step 1, but there's actually like 4 steps in here. So if you miss one of these, if you miss, any of these, then it can be very not clear to diagnose. So just reinforcing, yeah, building to Android, please read through this like very carefully, one at a time.
Yeah, and then Braxton, for internal purposes, you
Mhm.
might want to highlight to whoever's writing the documentation that temp Gradle out Unity library SOC main, that's no longer the correct path.
Let's see. Where at?
It says,
Right there.
yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That path is no longer viable.
I'll make a note right now on my off screen here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, don't need everybody to see my to-do list. Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah, so Tyrone, for your newer Android phones, you have to add that those lines of code into the Android manifest. You'll probably have to copy one after you build and then create a new folder just follow the directions that's at the bottom of that. You'll probably you have to set up a new folder in your assets and then put the manifest there and then add that little line, and it should solve it.
Okay. Yeah, I think my engineer has tried that solution, but I'll tell him to go to that piece of the documentation again. We filed a bug report, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's not working with Excel.
Okay.
Or
yeah, you can't add it to the generated the generated manifest. You have to copy the manifest and put it into a new folder so it can find it.
Okay, I'll let him know. Thank you, Dakota. Thanks.
Yeah, and Tyrone, if you submitted a ticket on ticket on the forums, our support team, I think, is painfully aware of the I think they see Android issues more commonly than probably any other issue, and it's like one of 5-7 different things or configurations. So if you submitted something, they'll be equipped to get you to a point of working. It's just, it might take a couple back and forth, like, try this, ensure you check this, like, did you do this? But it'll get there, I promise.
Yeah, on iOS with test flight, it works smooth. On Android, it's a bit tricky. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, in the replace me, I just can load my own FBX file, right?
For the, you mean in the replace me object thing?
Yes.
Yes. So in the replace me object, you'll see, if you drop that down, you'll see a gift body and a gift cover. So
Yes.
you can delete both of those, the gift body and gift cover. And then, yes, to your point, yes, after that, you can drag on an FBX you might have to make it a prefab. I think you can just do the FBX onto the replace me object. And then that will be your new object instead of the gift body.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, happy to chat about anything else, or questions, comments, or we can maybe not have a ton of time to dive into VPSC stuff, because I know that's a whole another topic, but time is for all of you. So we'll wait a couple minutes here to see if anybody else wants to talk about anything. Otherwise lunchtime. Okay, so yeah, I figured there'd be interest in VPS. Yeah, sounds good. Well, let's see. I'll address the questions here, and then maybe what would be most useful for everyone, the templates or like general overview and like what it is and how to use it? That would be higher level. The templates, well, I guess they're both pretty high level. We're not going to be diving into a lot of code, but templates or me talking.
Templates?
Yeah, we can totally do some of the templates. Let's see, when a VPS location is scanned, does it load a mesh that you can interact with, or does it just figure out where the phone is? The latter, Martha. So it figure out where the phone is in relation to the mesh. Assuming you're also using meshing, then you can also use the mesh of the VPS location. So if it's a statue, you'll have to use meshing to get the mesh and work with it. But in the future, you'll also be able to download the mesh into Unity, so you can like play with things. Actually, you might be able to do that now from the dashboard. So you can pull in the actual mesh, the FBX of your VPS location and play with it in Unity Editor as if you are there, in person. But when you actually use VPS to localize against the statue or the location, at that point, you're just getting where you are in relation to the object. Okay, I actually haven't integrated Mapbox before, so I can't speak to that one too much. Basically, you'd be using the overhead map part of Mapbox, and then we are able to provide the information like where is the next by using we call it the coverage API. Let's just here, let me here we go. Oh, I share screen again. Just a second. Boom. One. Okay. Let's look at this. And what was I just gonna? Okay, the coverage API. Just a second. Okay, so this is an API that lets you, this is a perfect example of if you combine Mapbox with the coverage API. The coverage API allows you to find VPS-enabled locations near you. So we would essentially encode and via the API, we would respond and say, hey, all these blue dots, hey, this is a statue, here are the VPS coordinates, it's the it's the cool boat statue. And here's a picture of what it looks like. And at these GPS coordinates, this is the something, I don't know, I'm just trying to make things. This is the special plaque bench. This is a bench, a golden bench. And here's the title of it. Here are the GPS coordinates. And here's a picture of what it looks like. So using those GPS coordinates and using a picture, you can construct like, hey, here's where a VPS location is. You'd have to use Mapbox to actually get this overhead map, or Google Maps. I think there's also, yeah, here we go. So let's say that you integrated Google Maps or Mapbox to get the overhead map. Now you use the VPS coverage API to say, hey, what VPS locations are near me? That API responds and says, hey, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 VPS locations near you. Here is an image for each of those locations, and here are the GPS coordinates for each location. Now with that information, you can overlay that on top of Mapbox or Google Maps, and that's shown here with the blue dots. So we've said, hey Mapbox that we've integrated, place blue dots here, at these GPS locations is what it does. And then you could show that to users like this, And if they click on one of your blue dots, you say, oh, I see you've clicked this blue dot. Well, that is this seal art that's at this GPS location. Here's a picture of what it looks like. Go there and localize against it to start a new experience, to get like XP or progress or whatever your app does. And you can show that in this overhead map view. So the overhead map part is totally Mapbox, Google Maps, whatever for now. In the longer term future, that will be in some form or fashion. We will support our own mapping solution. We don't have a date, or like I don't even have details on what that's going to look like right now, but it will be a thing. But this is an example of what that looks like. And I don't think we actually have a Mapbox integration guide right now. Yeah, I guess there is a little bit, a small one. So yeah, if you want to try to follow this section on displaying locations to users, this shows you how to use the coverage API with Mapbox or Google Maps and Unity. Admittedly, this actually isn't something I've done yet, so I don't have too much info on this. It seems like a great candidate for a follow-up session, or yeah, like a live sample, or even like a recorded sample. The only reason, well, thinking internally strategically, depending on when our own mapping solution comes out, this may or may not be something that we want to like officially make a tutorial on, but I know that if it's not soon, that it's going to be something that people are going to ask again and again and want again and again. So personally, I would like to do it. And I know you all won't be the only ones asking, you know, how to best do that. So check out this section. And please, like in Discord or on the forums or elsewhere, let us know how this is, if it works well, if it's a good guide, because I mean, I'm curious too, and I'll go through it myself and just also have feedback, I'm sure, if it works well or not. But yeah, I think this would be a great candidate for like an actual recorded tutorial, because this will be a perennial question here until we have our own mapping solution. So the Designium folks, I don't know if they might be in Discord. They've participated in at least the winter challenge, and I think maybe one or more other challenges as well. I'm not sure if they're doing this one or not. I know they're based in Japan, the folks that work at Designium. But Haley, do you know offhand if those folks are in Discord? And it's okay if you don't, or if you're not there.
Sorry, which ones?
The Designium folks. I know they're active in like the
Oh yeah,
challenges.
Alex and Chu. Here, let me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't worked with them personally, but they're super talented based on what they're putting out. I do have a teammate that works with some of our Japanese developers, so she would work with them a little bit more. She's actually in Japan right now, so otherwise she was going to be here today.
Hey, I was wondering if I can share something about Mapbox and yeah, Unity.
Sure. Yeah, I think people would love that. Please.
Can I share quickly my screen for a second?
Yeah, go for it. My voice is tired. You go for it.
Okay. So let me know when you all see my screen.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. So while I was trying to build with Lightship, I found out that I suck. Like I'm really bad at understanding the mapping position. Like it's really complex. So I just bought like a plugin called GoMap. And what this does is basically accepts kind of like Google Maps and Mapbox. You just pass basically your API keys on here. You have in every session a map. And this is the example for points of interest. So whenever you buy this plugin, you get like demos, and you just need to plug your API key. So what I found that this might be useful for VPS coverage API is that in some point I wanted to kind of like see these spots, right? Of what are the areas that are like VPS covered API activated. So what I found out in kind of like the templates is that they have a system to add a kind of like a map, like a pin. Yeah, it's basically a sphere. And what that does is it takes a GPS location, latitude and longitude, and adds that to like the coordinate of the map. So you need to get the GPS data and just say like, hey, I want to add a sphere to the map. And what I did is basically uses this button to localize. I mean, the computer doesn't have the sensors to do the localization, right? But in my phone, that I can share it. Once you do that, the localization, you can add the like spheres in the map. And if you repeat this, like, I don't know, if you do this automatically, you can then load any kind of data from an API. So here it's kind of like, well, it's blurry. Give me 1 second. There you go. So here's me, right, in my app. The first thing I do is kind of like localize, because I need to know my location in a map in order to pass like the pin. And once I kind of like add the pin, it adds like kind of like a sphere on there. And this is basically the same you showed Braxton, but in 3D. And this is kind of like a Pokemon Go style look, because whenever I move, the avatar moves like around. So I haven't figured out how to do it in 2D, but I figured out that maybe this solution could be useful if you need to see information like in the real world, like in 3-dimensional way. Because when you, for example, or when I'm for example in a place, in a subway, if you use a flat map, you will not be able to see on what height, how deep the marker is. But when you see it in 3D, you can see it's like under like earth, or it's like up, or it's, I don't know, it's in 3D, you know. But yeah, this is kind of like my approach. The plugins call it Go Map. You can find it in basically Unity store. And this is what I have been researching right now. Hopefully, the cool thing is that, for example, this is I use instantiate like a pin, right? Like a sphere, but that it can trigger anything. You can, once your avatar collides with a sphere, you can trigger whatever you want, because you use it kind of like Unity standard colliders. And you can, for example, send notifications, open up the camera, or, you know, do some sort of interaction. But yeah, this is basically what I wanted to share. That will be it.
Do you have a good way of sharing that if people are interested? Do you have it on GitHub or anywhere, or just?
Sure. Well, my intention is like sharing this to be open source for everyone, basically. But I first need to kind of like figure out how to use it before sharing it, basically. But yeah, sure. I mean, I can even share this like right now if this is useful for someone, but I cannot share the plugin. So you need to buy the plugin. And once you have the plugin, I can share like the demos that I have all this code. Basically, the code is 20 lines, so it's not that hard. But yeah, it's everything there.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Is there any other topics top of mind with our session today? I know we had 10 minutes, and I know we talked a little bit about VPS. I guess could probably dive into it even more, but I'm just a little tentative to dive too deep into VPS, because I know that I can't get everything covered in 10 minutes, but I would love to do like a full session, you know, on that. But if anybody has specific topics or questions, I think that'd be a good way to kind of hit some of those things.
So once once I complete the scan, as Natalie was saying, I would wait some hours for the upload and I see it in the web page, right? Like in my account. I will see
Yes.
the file now showing there.
Yep, on your developer dashboard. Yeah. So
Okay.
let's see. And I think I have the tab up already. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Well, dashboard. Yeah. So in your developer dashboard, there is a My Meshes tab on the left. And right now, and if you don't have any, it'll say you don't have any. Otherwise, they're listed there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I've seen that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You don't access
How will you be sharing the Zoom link? Are you sending out an email? So Discord for the recording? The recording of the Zoom?
Yeah, in Discord. We'll also post it to YouTube. So we'll try and do that on a monthly basis, like collect all the sessions and then put them on YouTube. We don't post office hours though, so just the product sessions, workshops, and then the brown bag sessions.
Thank
Cool,
you.
thanks.
Ping, it looks like so having trouble access ID. Oh, the IDs in the way spot anchors, like in the dictionary pieces. Is that what you're referring to, Peng? Is the when you register way spot anchors and then maintaining that list of IDs and objects in a dictionary?
Yes, that's right. The only way for me to get the ID is through the game object that is instantiated on the scene. So I'm not sure if that makes sense.
To instantiate on the scene. So you will need to keep track of. Are you successfully restoring the objects too, though? Is that working? If you go back and restore them, is that working successfully?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yes.
How
You
does it
mind
work?
if I share a screen?
Sure.
Yeah, so I can get the IDs from the anchors that I've placed. So based on the last office hours, you said that we just had to create a script that gets the IDs and then link the game object to them. Yeah, so I wrote a simple script, but I'm not sure if it works at the moment. Hold on. So assuming the name is, I'm supposed to I just meshed out the mushroom. If I mesh out the mushroom and I just have to instantiate a sphere on the mushroom, so it becomes something like that. Right. So is this how we are supposed to do this? Because what I'm doing is that I'm finding the name of the game object, which is the test, and then I would just instantiate the sphere on top of it.
So you're loading. So you're loading a wayspot anchor and then attaching a new game object to it. Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, yes, that's right. So instead of looking for the ID and writing it inside the script, I have to I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it. So I could have like a sphere, and then maybe the next object would be a cube, and so on and so forth. So this is how we can.
I think that can work. I think the benefit of using the ID is just that it is a unique identifier. So you'll never, because if you have two spheres or naming conventions get confusing, then you could easily have, I guess, run into it's error prone that way, as opposed to using the unique identifiers. But you could do that, yeah. If you were keeping track of everything in your scene very carefully, that would work.
Okay. So I
Can-
was also wondering, like, could you like load a mesh of your private scan place, then we can be able to place VPS objects on that mesh, and then we can be able to load it, save it, load it on the real test site.
Soon. You just described a feature that I just saw a design document for yesterday. So yeah, eventually, or soonish. I don't know. There's not a date yet, but it's in design to. We call that like remote authoring. So essentially, being able to create content around VPS or create anchors and content around VPS locations, all from the Unity editor, all from your machine. So you can't do that right now.
Nice.
But that will be coming. So then, because right now, I was just having this conversation yesterday. Right now, it is a little bit difficult because you need to go to like the site and start placing content, which anything that makes you have to go travel just for testing is not ideal. So eventually, soon, some point soon, there will be the remote content authoring, which should allow you to pull in your mesh from the developer side or whatever, and actually create content around it, all from Unity, which will be super, be a lot easier.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to it. Thanks, Braxton.
Yeah, absolutely.
Braxton, can I add something I heard in one of the last of the hours from the VP?
Oh, yeah.
From VPS.
For
He's
sure.
saying kind of like this formula is my mantra now. It says localize, create, store, restore, and track. And from what I heard, this is kind of like the current workflow we have to author content right now. So you need to move to the place, create a 3D object, store that, get the payload, then you kind of like restore the, I don't know, kind of like the session, the VPS, whatever you save the content, I mean, and then it's tracking basically.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not the most developer friendly flow. So but it's true. Yeah, I hope everyone found this useful today. Hi, Brandon. Sorry that we're kind of wrapping up here in the last couple of minutes, but feedback's appreciated. In Discord, let us know how these are most productive. I know, again, like we try to make it approachable for everybody. So if you're more advanced, this might not be as useful, but if you come from different backgrounds, hopefully you can kind of pick pieces from throughout the session and find it useful. So we're excited to see what comes in for the templates challenge. I know that this was the first foray into Lightship for a lot of people. So looking forward to it. Please join the Discord, keep the conversations going, and I'm sure we'll be doing more of these soon. So I'll hopefully see your faces again, or your virtual names, either one.
Thanks everyone. It was great.
Can we take a picture
Cheers.
before everyone goes?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, if anyone minds, can you turn your camera on and we take a picture to remember this day? There we go. Turn on. Just for a second. Woo! Excited to see everyone. Michael, if you can, Matt, Woo, Toom, Brandon, if not. Yes. Okay, give it like 5 more seconds.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to take it in 3, 2, 1. There we go.
Nailed it.
Thank you everyone who assisted, and see you everyone soon.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.